big time breaking information coming out of Burns, Oregon. Raymond Bundy has been taken into custody, at least 8 others as well. There was a firefight, shots were fired, multiple people have been shot. This is a bad situation, bad situation. The way it looks like it went down was they were on their way to John Day, Oregon to speak at a town hall meeting. 100 people were sitting there waiting. Well, they never made it to that meeting. They were pulled over on the way. And like we said, multiple people shot at this point. So the details are sketchy. I'm not going to say any names right now who's been shot out of respect to the families. And we're going to be going live over on Dabu 777 to talk about this as the situation is developing. The hospital is reportedly on lockdown there in Burns, Oregon.
In Oregon right now, it's crazy. Raymond Bundy was just apprehended. LaVoy Finicum, who he's actually, they actually just shot and killed. So we're all doing research, we're all looking around, we're all trying to find answers right now. My guy on the ground actually there right now, Brandon Curtis is getting some more details. He's a part of the Idaho 3 percenters that are providing the buffer support. Raymond Bundy actually went out of that area. They were 20 miles away from the refuge when they were ambushed by the FBI and Oregon State Police. What you're reading on the screen right now is Tara Teeny, I believe her name is, or Tenny maybe, but this is the daughter of Mr. Finicum. So I want to show you guys, just read it yourselves. I want the world to know how my father was murdered today. His hands were in the air and he was shot in the face by the American authorities. Raymond Bundy reported there are 6 witnesses to this evil. Do you understand? From what I understand, his hands were in the air, he was on his knees, and he was shot in the face. This is what we're looking at, guys, when we're talking about American police, when we're talking about the FBI, when we're talking about state police. This goes well beyond over-policing. This is criminal, and this keeps popping up in our nation. I keep trying to tell everybody this is not about a Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. It's not about anything about that. It's about all rights matter. We all have rights, and one of our rights is not to get shot in the face if we're not doing anything that would be endangering the rights of other people. When your hands are in the air, when you're on the ground on your knees, or if you're standing up and your hands are in the air, you're not a threat to anybody. So I just wanted to break that story to you guys just to show you how the family that's left behind, how they are also impacted by these tremendous tragedies that are going on here. And listen, guys, whether you agree with what they were doing at the refuge or whether you don't, that's inconsequential right now. What really matters right now is the fact that the federal government is stepping in and taking our land. They are absolutely doing that through land grabs. It has been exposed. I have the video of myself, showing that it's exposed. They laugh at us while they take our land and they sit in their meetings and they say, oh, well, we own 100,000, 300,000 acres and, in this part of this part of the state, and the ranchers own 5. So they're laughing in these meetings while they're taking our land. So we know that that is a fact. We know that it is a fact that law enforcement has not contacted the refuge and tried to resolve this matter peacefully in a way that everybody can come to the table, sit down, and actually talk. Instead, federal officials were called by Governor Brown of Oregon to come and bring an immediate end to the situation, instead of her actually going out there as the leading state representative to say, hey, what can we do to talk about this? Let's sit down at the table. So we know that the federal government does not come to talk about situations. They come to kill and destroy. That's it. So they are not negotiators. That's number 2. And we can just keep going on with the list. I'm not going to go through a whole list, but there's so many things that we're learning from this situation. There's so many things that we're seeing from this situation. We can't let this go to waste. We can't let Mr. Finicum's death go to waste. So let me see here. I just posted it up. There's Oregon ambush update. In Oregon ambush, Hammond Bundy arrested, LaVoy Finicum fatally shot. So I want you guys to check that out. It's on YouTube. I have both stories up there. They're trending well. It's giving you a lot of information in there. It's also funny that there was a psyop, from some kind of weird anonymous sect at the same time that the FBI was actually raiding ambushing the folks there at the refuge or right outside of the refuge. So, these things are not accidental, guys. You have to watch these things as they go on. It's a fluid situation, but if you're in the know and if you've been on the ground since day one, like I have and a few of my other folks, then you'll understand that there's a larger picture here and that the official narrative put out by the mainstream media is absolutely incorrect. It is filled with lies, and they will not focus on the fact that our federal lands are being taken, that the Clinton Foundation does have a hand in it, and not only are these federal lands being taken, but they're being taken illegally. According to each state's enabling act, there's guidelines and provisions as to who owns the territory, the territory within the state's boundaries. And according to the Enabling Act, a lot of them are criminal in nature, and they directly defy the Constitution and the amount of federal land that Washington, D.C. is supposed to own. They're only supposed to have their little 10 square miles as far as federal land that they own. And, I believe it's in Article 1, maybe Section 8 or something like that, where the government, they can only own this amount of land. Now, anything outside of that they control would be control of their territory. Once states become sovereign and actually, solidify in the states, that territory is supposed to be transferred. The right of that territory is transferred to the state. We've seen a lot of enabling acts across the United States ever since, this country was founded and formed, that has not been the case, really, and that the federal government has kept their hand in the state's affairs and, from the beginning of time. Now, what is good, there are a couple of states that have stood up to the federal government and said, no, you're not going to do this. I believe Utah is one of them. And there's a couple more, I believe Texas as well. So they put the federal government on notice, hey, wait a second, according to the Constitution, this is one thing, but according to our state's Enabling Act, this is another thing. You're going to have to cancel out this Enabling Act and declare that these lands belong to the state's people instead of the federal government. So a couple states are starting to wake up, guys. That is the good news here, okay? If we get anything out of this, if we get anything out of LaVoy Finicum's death, it's knowing that the couple states are starting to wake up, and hopefully Oregon will be next. They have a neoliberal in Oregon. Her name is Kate Brown, so I'm not really certain of that, but I'm letting you guys know that the possibility is there. The possibility for the state to take back their land from the federal government is there because the enabling acts for the states are illegal in nature, and not even all the states have enabling acts. Some of them were just brought into the union because of the fact that they came up with a constitution, a state constitution. Okay? Listen, guys, I've done some studying, I've done some research about this, but the sad thing about this whole situation is we have to read Tara's words. Her father is gone now. Her father is gone, and there are 6 witnesses that are all locked up now. And if they're not locked up, they're working for the other side anyway, the agents that were there and the officers that were there. But we're talking about an older gentleman who was shot in the face for no reason other than the fact that they were itching and dying to kill somebody. So guys, you make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you really want to stay up to date on what's going on, make sure you go to the description section below. Download my app. I will send you push notifications when there's breaking information. I won't be obtrusive with it, but you'll get a simple notification saying, hey, open the app up, check it out, tune in to Anon Radio Live. I have Anon Radio Live, my blog, on corporate media, the site that I write for, and my Twitter information. I have all of that in my app, and I want you guys to have that because you get breaking information as soon as it happens instead of waiting for the algorithms of social media. All right, guys, let's send a prayer out to LaVoy Finicum's family, especially Tara here. Her father was murdered today, and I have a daughter that lives in New Jersey, and I know that if she ever had to post, she's a young girl now, but if she became a woman, or when she becomes a woman later on in life, if she ever had to post something like this would be heartbreaking. Okay? So this is a heartbreaking situation for this family. This man was standing up, doing what he believed in, doing what was right. And I support him 100% because I believe that the cause of why those folks were there was absolutely justified. The federal government has overstepped their boundaries. They've done it too long, and sadly enough, that this is possibly the last stand that we will ever see coming out of the West. After this stand is over, in which I do not expect us to win, I'm going to be honest, but after this stand is over, the federal government will have exactly what they want. Control of the land. They will have used bully tactics by shooting older gentlemen in the face that have spoken out against them, and that's where we lose as a people. So guys, share this video far and wide. Let people get the knowledge of what's going on. Let it sink into their brains, okay? This is all information you can go out to Google and check. Get this information out there. Share, 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 and keep Tara in your prayers. As always, guys, stay alert, stay alive.
This is a breaking news alert. Federal agents have received their first taste of blood, and like vampires are going back for more. Now federal caravans appear to be en route to fulfill the Patriot Holocaust, while the Twitter sphere celebrates like Romans in the Colosseum. The feds delighted in the spilled blood of LaVoy Finicum, whose own daughter and 6 witnesses say LaVoy was on his knees, hands in the air, and was shot in the face. A live feed from within the refuge confirms the children have been evacuated, and they're surrounded by federal agents. This may be the spark that ignites and unites the militias nationwide to take back the country from an out-of-control federal government. By morning the final solution may be executed, and the next American Revolution will have begun. This story is developing. Subscribe to the channel and we'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Please distribute this to your social networks, and as always we welcome your input in the comments below. This has been a Next News Network breaking news alert.
Hey guys, what's going on? Sincere here with whoissincere.com. Want to thank Lauren Martinez. She's on the ground, a reporter there on the ground who's been following what's going on very closely. Listen guys, they've already set the road blockades up leading to the refuge from the airport. Again guys, they have set the road blockades up. That's what you're looking at on your screen right there from Lauren Martinez's Twitter feed. The video after this is going to show you that they are already starting to surround the refuge as we speak. Let's pray for the women and children that are up there, and also let's just pray for a peaceful resolution to this, and that somehow that we can get to the table and finally talking about the overreach of the federal government and them taking property from American citizens. So here's an update guys. They have the road blocked off in or out, and here's a video to show you that they're going in guys.
All of us had like a laser on us. They're like, turn out the car and put your head out the window and all this stuff. He's like, he put his hands out the window so they could see he didn't have a gun. He's like, but I'm not. He's like, I'm not. He's like, we're going to talk to the sheriff right now. He's like, you guys can follow us there, that's fine. He's like, but we're talking to the sheriff. He said, either you can put a bullet through my head right now and get it over with, or we're going to talk to the sheriff. And they were like, no, and so then they're like stepping it up, and a bunch more guys are coming out, and they're all pulling their guns out, and they were like, we have women in the car, because there was me and this other lady in the car that I don't know real well, but we have women in the car. They said, get the women out of the car, get the women out of the car, and they're saying they're going to shoot, and Ryan Payne was like, he was in the front seat. Ryan Payne is amazing. He is incredible. But anyhow, so he was like, he said he put his hands out the window because he was trying to talk to them. He was like, if he wanted the guy to just, he was like, I don't know if it's worth it. He's like, so he put his hands out the window and he said, we have women in the car, at least let the women get out. And he stuck his head out and they shot at him, but they missed him, or like he ducked just in time. So they didn't hit him. And then they're like, oh, they mean business. They're going to shoot us. And so Ryan decided to get out of the car and try to go talk to them. And so he gets out of the car, and then the guy tried to like talk to them. The driver was like, I'm just going to drive. So I'm just going to talk to the sheriff. And he's like, so either shoot me now or leave us alone. And they were just like, turn the car off and put your hands up. So finally, he decided to just drive. So we all got down on the floorboard, and he took off, and then they started firing at us. They started shooting us a bunch of times, and then they had a roadblock set up, and so he ran into a snowbank, and they were like riddling the car with bullets. And then they, like, when we crashed, they stopped for a second. He got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, and rest. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. They shot him like right there because he was just walking with his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God, he was just walking with his hands in the air, and they shot him. And they shot him dead. And then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times. And then they bombarded our vehicle with bullets. Ryan got hit in the shoulder. We were laying there on the floorboard screaming, and they gassed us like 5 times, and they kept trying to shoot us, and their angle was bad, so I don't know, we were praying like so hard, and we were screaming like, stop, please stop, please stop, and they were just riddling us with bullets. They kept gassing us over and over, and we couldn't breathe because of the gas, and we were trying to find something white so that we could put a white flag out, and then I was trying to see, because Ryan knew he got hit in the shoulder, so he was like, well, I don't think it's too bad, though. So we were just trying to find a way to get out there, and then they, hold on a second. I'm waiting for them to call me back.
Listen, Victoria, I recorded your testimony.
Oh, okay.
All right, because if anything happens to you, I think it's really important to have that.
All right.
Okay, so let's just get this clear. Mr. Finicum's hands were in the air when he was shot.
Yes.
Was he
We saw him face up. I mean, his hands were still up after he was dead.
Okay, they shot him and he went down, then they shot him again on the ground?
Yeah, they shot him like at least 6 times.
The newspaper reports are just saying that 3 shots were fired, but that's not true.
No, are you kidding me? They shot at least 120 shots probably altogether.
Okay.
Because they were shooting the car, and it's like a lot.
What side of the windows were the windows blown out on, the left or the right side?
Left.
Left side, okay. And
they kept hitting the right. They kept hitting the right side of the car too, but they didn't blow. Like the windows didn't come out. Like they were hitting the metal instead of the glass.
Okay. And so, not one shot was fired by anybody in the car or by a LaVoy?
No one even touched their gun.
No one touched their gun?
No one pulled their gun out. No one touched the gun. We had no rifles. A couple of the guys had sidearms on, but no one touched them. In fact, they had their hands out the windows to show that they were not firing. They weren't nothing.
Okay, so when
we showed no aggression at all.
When Ryan Bundy was shot, both his hands were out the window and his head was out the window?
No, at the time he was on the floor of the car because that was when they were shooting at our vehicle. we couldn't get out of the car or we would have been dead.
Right. Okay. And so, how many police vehicles or how many vehicles would you say were involved in this encounter? FBI vehicles, etc.
You know, I didn't count. I was really shooken up when they got out. But we all noted that there was like a ton of vehicles. There were, I don't know, maybe 40 altogether.
Okay.
There was tons, and there were people in the trees. Like it was an ambush. It was a set-up ambush or something because there was like people in the trees, FBI snipers, and people in the trees because we saw them. They're all pointing their. Like I had like 20 lasers on me when I was getting out of the car.
Okay. So Lloyd got out of the driver's seat and he
Well, when he crashed into the snowbank, then he immediately got out of the car. He had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then, because he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go down. He didn't want to. But he did not. He just had his hands in the air. He's like, "Are you just going to shoot me?" And then they just shot him.
And how many shots would you say that were fired when they shot him the first time?
The first time that he was shot.
When they shot him, did you hear multiple rounds?
Yeah, I did. He got hit by several people. Like it was like simultaneous, and we were like, "What?" Because we couldn't believe it. It shocked us because he had his hands in the air. We couldn't believe that they were actually going to shoot him, and we were like, "What? Is he dead? Is he dead?" And then I was like, because we knew that he had gotten shot, we couldn't hear him, and I was like, then I screamed, "I'm in EMT, let me come out and help him, I just want to help him." And then they started firing at the car, the vehicle again, and then they wouldn't let us out. And, it was so scary.
About how long would you say they fired at the car before they finally stopped?
Somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Victoria, we're going to be praying for you, okay? And
right.
You know, I have this recorded because I fear for your life. I feel like if you were one of the few people, you're not under arrest, but you were a witness, a direct eyewitness to what happened. So I wanted to get this down, and I wanted to document this as well as I could. Who was driving so LaVoy was driving the car, and Ryan was in the front seat?
No, Ryan Payne, who was in the front seat, but during the incident, he got out. When they first stopped us, he stopped in the middle of the road and told them, "We're going to talk to the sheriff," he said. And then when they fired the first shot, it was actually at that point, Ryan Payne had both his hands out the window on his head, and then they shot at him.
That was the first shot?
That was the first shot.
Okay, so...
And that's when they knew that's when we knew that they meant business, that they were serious, and that I'm talking to someone in Michigan that I live with. They're recording this just in case. So that was the first shot, and then he ended up getting out of the car because they stopped shooting. He got out of the car, and then after we started driving again, that's when they shot. That's when they started shooting at us again. So, but we had lasers on us the whole time. They were ready to shoot.
Okay, so Ryan got out of the car. Did he ever get back in the car before he took off?
No, he was arrested, or he was taken into custody at least. I don't know if he was arrested, because all of us were taken into custody, and he was with us. Like, we all got transported together, and then they separated all of us.
And that's Ryan Payne you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and where was Ryan Bundy?
He was in the back seat of the car beside me. I was actually, I had fallen asleep on him. I had fallen asleep on him right when we got pulled over. I was asleep, and then I woke up when the whole thing started going down.
So
he was sitting to the left of me.
Okay, so you were in the middle?
Yes.
And then the other lady...
On my right.
Who was?
Shauna Cox.
Shauna Cox on your right, Ryan Bundy on your left. And you were headed to go see the sheriff?
We were going to this meeting that was going on, so all of us sheriffs were going to sing, and the sheriff was going to be there, and a bunch of ranchers. We were just going to try to talk and maybe do some negotiations, and we were going to sing. And so that was all. And then we were ambushed. I mean, it was known that we were going to go, so they probably just decided to choose that area maybe because it was really wooded and everything, and we didn't have any phone service. So.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to be up if you want to call me at any time during this, okay? Because I can't do much. I can pray for you guys, but I can also try to document as best as possible to make sure that the story is not, because right now the media is reporting that 3 shots were fired.
Oh, no, that's a total lie.
Okay.
Of course, the media is going to report that, but.
Right. Well.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the car? Have you seen the vehicle?
No.
It's completely covered with gunshots.
Well, no, they're not going to release that because they don't want. And
he's probably got 6 holes in him himself.
Okay. Well, I'm just telling you. So now let me ask you this: do you want this story to get out?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna see how well it's turning out. I want to be able to determine if I can hear you clearly and determine. And I mean, I am willing to try to get this out there to any media outlet that I possibly can. Independent media, but I need to know, so is your family back at the refuge?
No, they're not. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Someone's calling me.
All right. Go ahead and answer.
Oh, I need to let you go.
Bye-bye. Call me back.
All right, bye.